SDS Aaron con otro video para ti hoy. I'm going to show you how to enable IMAP, which stands for Internet Message Access Protocol. It's just a different way to access your email. Generally, there are two different ways. There is Post Office Protocol, which is POP, and IMAP. And quickly, let me describe the difference. Post Office Protocol means that you have to connect to your email service provider, and then it gets downloaded, and then the email stays on your server or their server. IMAP, Internet Message Access Protocol, it connects to the same server. However, it will download your email messages locally. So there's kind of that distinction. Okay, so let me demonstrate. First, I'm going to go over some of the Yahoo. This comes directly from Yahoo, and these are the instructions so that you can properly configure your email to use Internet Message Access Protocol. Alright, this allows you to download your email from your Yahoo email account into a third-party email application. For example, Thunderbird, Microsoft Outlook, Mac and Crap Mail, and other third-party email applications that support Internet Message Access Protocol. Now, there's a warning. If you have an email account with a lot of content, I would say emails with attachments, it can take several days or longer to download. So there's a warning. That's a caveat. My point is that you may not want to become impatient. If you already know in advance that you have a plethora of email messages, it could take a while. Depends on your service provider, your client, your internet access speed, etc. Okay, now this is for Yahoo Mail. I do not have a Yahoo email account. I will be demonstrating later on in this video how to configure the server settings properly. And I will be using Thunderbird email application, desktop version. Okay, now you want to go over some of these pieces of information. You want to keep a copy of your email in your account. If your application asks if you want to, quote, keep mail on the server, unquote, during the setup of your email account, which I will be demonstrating in a few minutes, you want to select yes. If you do not select yes, this is another warning, your email will be deleted from your account when it's downloaded. So again, at the beginning of this video, I described the difference between Post Office Protocol and Internet Message Access Protocol. If you are confused, instead of deleting your email from the email account on your service provider, well, this is Yahoo, from Yahoo's server, and then doing a what the fuck moment, and yelling and screaming, read over this document, and then also become familiar with the difference between Post Office Protocol and Internet Message Access Protocol. In order to keep your email, you want to select yes when the application asks you. Alright, very important. Otherwise, you delete that email, those email messages off the Yahoo server. They are still stored. They will be stored as long as they're downloaded successfully to your email client, but they are no longer on the server. And then when you log into Yahoo email web-based, they're gone. And as a real-world computer technician that deals with computer issues every day, I work every day because I'm self-employed, this is a common scenario I see. People complain about their inbox being empty. It may be because they set up Internet Message Access Protocol. I'm not saying all the time, but that is a possible reason why. Okay, backing up your email. This is another warning. Just in case, you will want to back up your email messages. Okay, some applications will default to only download a preview or snippet of your emails until that email is then opened. What you want to do is make sure that your application for example, Thunderbird, Mac and Crap Mail Program, etc. Make sure that application is set to download the full contents of your email for offline use. So you're going to want to enable offline use. All right, limitations for large folders. Now, this is for folders on the Yahoo server that contain 1 million or more emails. I have no idea why you would have 1 million emails, but when I worked in corporate America, which I will never ever work in the toxic corporate America environment, there were some employees that just had email message after email, and then large folders. I'm assuming that they are referring to archived email messages. You may have folders with a plethora of email messages that you have archived. If you have 1 million or more, you're going to possibly run into problems downloading all of them to your computer, your desktop email client. All right, what a possible solution is that you would want to move some of those email messages to a new folder in your, I'm assuming, your Yahoo email account on the Yahoo server. Now, this is very important. If you do not configure these settings correctly, you will not be able to configure Internet Message Access Protocol in your email client of choice. Thunderbird, Mac and Crap Mail, and what was the other third example? Oh, Microsoft Outlook. I never use Outlook email anymore. That's just, I don't want to talk about that. Wow, the PST files, and oh man, I don't want to ever discuss that ever again. I'm so glad I'm self-employed and I can choose and pick what issues I work with. Microsoft Outlook email, it can turn into a days and weeks and maybe even months disaster, and I'm not making that up because it deals with the PST files. Anyways, I digress back. Now I'm in a foul mood just thinking about that. Okay, now this is the information that you're going to want to configure your email application. These are the Internet Message Access Protocol incoming mail server settings. And now this is where I'm going to demonstrate. Alright, so let me transition. The first screen you're going to see is Outlook. You do not, excuse me, Outlook. Thunderbird. I'm at the 8-minute mark. This is Thunderbird, which is free. Thunderbird, I think, is cross-platformed, independent. You can install it on Linux, Microsoft, Microcrap, Microsoft Windows operating system, and I think even Mac and Crap. Anyways, what you're going to do is you're just going to choose set up an account. So go to accounts, and then you're going to click on set up an account and then click on email. That's a link that will open up this second window that I'm going to show you. All right, and let me transition again. Give me a few seconds because I have to set it up real quick. Okay, now once you click on set up an email account in Thunderbird, you're going to see this window. Now I already have it configured for time constraints. You're going to have to enter in a name, and you're going to have to enter an email address. Again, remember, this is Yahoo. So you're going to enter in, your name doesn't matter. You can fill that in with anything, actually. But the email address, obviously, you have to type in correctly. johndoe@yahoo.com. Password, you would enter in your password. I don't have a Yahoo account. I recorded a video months ago showing you how to permanently delete your Yahoo email account. You can watch that video if you want. You can also check the box for remember password. Now, click on manual config. You click on that button. I don't think my encoder is going to capture this right away, so oh no, it did. All right. Okay. Now this is very important. Down here under server host name, you're going to choose IMAP for Internet Message Access Protocol, and you're going to choose these settings that are in the instructions, which are the proper IMAP server. On screen, you want the IMAP server export.imap.mail.yahoo.com. You can copy and paste that. That is the server that you're going to connect to. And let me transition. This video will take a little bit longer than I thought because I have to keep transitioning to demonstrate. So where it says incoming, that is incoming, right? Yes, incoming, port 993. You see where it says server host name? You want to fill this in with this long address, which you can copy and paste. It's export.imap for Internet Message Access Protocol.mail.yahoo.com. And you have to type it in correctly. All right, now the next field will be the port. And we're going to change, actually I think I can change it right now. Port 993. There's one that you can choose. Port 143 and 993, I'm not going to discuss the technical details. Those are very common email ports, all right? So choose 993. Now, do they stipulate TLS or SSL, which stands for Secure Sockets Layer, or TLS? Let me read the instructions. Yes, you want to choose SSL. So I think you would just accept the default. Start TLS is actually different. Choose the SSL for Secure Sockets Layer, and then I think authentication, I think you just auto detect. Alright, so those three fields must be set to what they are on screen. And in the Yahoo article right there, you have to configure those correctly, otherwise you're not going to be able to set up Internet Access Message Protocol. Alright, what else? Let's go to the outgoing. So that's the incoming server settings. That tells the Yahoo email server, okay, any messages that are incoming, meaning when people send you messages, it goes to the incoming mail server, and those settings have to be correct. Alright, so that you can receive email messages correctly. Now we're going to configure the outgoing. Alright. Okay, so we have incoming. We set those already. Let me close this other window, my timer that already went off at the 8-minute mark. Outgoing, which is Simple Message Transfer Protocol. That is what SMTP stands for. Simple Message Transfer Protocol is the part of the email server that sends email messages out. When you compose a new email message with Yahoo and you type a subject and the address and then the text, the actual message, and you click on send, that is the part of the server, Simple Message Transfer Protocol. That sends the email out from your email account. The server has to be smtp.mail.yahoo.com. It has to be exactly smtp period or .mail.yahoo.com. You can copy and paste. The port is either 465 or 587. And then let me demonstrate for you. Let me show you the quick where we're at here, where it's highlighted, and I copy and paste in the Yahoo article. Now let's transition, and I'm going to put in the correct server. You take out the .yahoo.com, that most likely is not going to work. You want the full address, Uniform Resource Locator. It's already set to SMTP. You can't change that. Now the port, click on the drop down where it says port, the port column. You can either choose 587 or 465. I think I'm going to just choose 465 since it's the first one on that list. It's at the bottom. Now these three, 587, 25, 465, I'm not going to describe technical details about ports and the specific ports. These are very common. You know what I'm saying? Choose 465 or 587. If port 465, if you know that all the rest of your settings are correct and dealing with Simple Message Transfer Protocol, just try them both until one works. All right? Now, I'm assuming that they're going to require Secure Sockets Layer, which they are, according to the article here. It stipulates require SSL, which stands for Secure Sockets Layer. Yes. Now let me transition again, and then we're going to, it's already set to Secure Sockets Layer TLS, so we'll just leave it at that. Authentication, I'm not sure, that may, oh, okay. That is when it would ask you for your username and password, I think at the time of authentication. So we'll just leave it at auto detect. You know what I'm saying? These can get, I don't want to describe that because it could get a little bit more technical. Just choose auto detect. Now, and then require, oh, now if you notice, incoming Internet Message Access Protocol did not require authentication in the instructions. Outgoing does require authentication. So we're going to change the settings, and then we're going to choose on the right hand column under authentication, choose requires authentication. Well, these are different. This one would encrypt your password. This one would be a normal password that is not encrypted, which is kind of a security risk, or more of a security risk. Kerberos, NTLM, I'm not going to go over these. I think I'm going to still recommend that you choose auto detect. If for whatever reason auto detect does not work for authentication, then you would want to look up on your own what these other options are. And what the way I learned was I would just choose each one of these one at a time until it finally worked. That's my tip. If for whatever reason auto detection does not work, try one of these one at a time. You just select one and then you click on retest. Outlook has a testing mechanism so that you do not have to configure your email account first and then you get all these errors. Oh, well, your password's incorrect. Well, your port's wrong. Well, your SSL isn't enabled. There's a test button right here, which I'm not going to click because I do not actually have a Yahoo email account. This is just a made-up email account. All right, let's set it to auto detect. What you would do is click on retest. And then I think you have to enter in a password, and then you would click on done to set up your email account. Anything further there? Okay. Yes, you would. I think I can demonstrate that. I'm just going to type in random characters. And then you would click on continue. You know what I'm saying? Or you can go back and click on retest. It'll test those. This is what I recommend. It will test the outgoing simple message transfer protocol or simple mail transfer protocol server settings, and also the incoming internet message access protocol. That way, if you run into any problems, it will tell you right away, and then you can troubleshoot. And just go through the list and make sure the port is correct, make sure the server is typed in correct, make sure the requires secure sockets layer is selected, and then make sure that authentication is selected and make sure you're using the correct type of authentication. Alright, now let's move along. This video is already lengthy. Let's finish this up. This last part I cannot demonstrate. It says your login information. Now, if you're using a Yahoo account key, or some older email applications will then generate an application password, you will want to use that for your account password. Otherwise, now, Yahoo account key is kind of technical. It's another key. It's similar, I would say, to two-factor authentication. If you're familiar with two-factor authentication, what that is that it requires not just your username and password, but it requires another second authentication. Sometimes it's just a code, sometimes, and so you would want to look up two-factor authentication if you're not familiar with it. It's just another key. So you would enter in your username your password for your Yahoo email account, and then the account key. Or you would configure your application to save the account key. If somebody were tried to circumvent your Yahoo email account and they did not know your Yahoo account key, but they did maybe know your password, or they were able to change it somehow, chances are they would not be able to access your email account because they did not know, or they did not have the account key configured in the email application that they are using to access your Yahoo email account. Alright, so that's what that means. If you do not have a Yahoo account key, or you have an application that generates an application password that is similar to a code, then you would just use your email address, which I showed you in the demonstration. It has to be correct, your full email address, which is your Yahoo name, username, John Doe, or whatever your Yahoo username is for your Yahoo email account, at the @ yahoo.com. If it is incorrect, you will not be able to authenticate correctly. Your password, which is your Yahoo email account password, and then requires authentication. You want to select yes, or you want to choose SSL, Secure Sockets Layer. So another way to describe this last part, your login information, is a lot of end users on the internet, they may not know how to configure, and I'm not being condescending, I'm just telling you after decades of real world experience as a real world computer technician. Some end users, they do not know how to properly configure an email client. They do not use Thunderbird. They do not use Microsoft Outlook. They do not use any other third-party email client. Or on Macintosh, the already installed email software client. They access their Yahoo email account web-based, yahoo.com, and then the mail, sign into the mail. So they're using a web browser. So what you would use is you would use your Yahoo email address from your web browser that you log into Yahoo Mail, and the password. And that should get you in, but you may have to also select requires authentication. If that option is available, you choose yes. Alright, so hopefully after this video, you are now able to use Internet Access Message Protocol to access your email, your Yahoo email in your email client software, the desktop software that's installed on your computer. And you could probably use this, I would say, also on a smartphone. Excuse me, a dumb device. I mean, smartphones. I do not use smartphones anymore, but a lot of people do. Google Android or iOS. You would use the email application on your Google Android or your Apple iOS, and probably also a iPad. One other warning. Remember, this allows you to download your Yahoo email messages from the Yahoo Mail server onto your computer into your email application. You want to follow the warnings at the beginning. Remember, you want to keep your email messages on the Yahoo server when it asks you. You may also want to back them up just in case. I am not liable for your Yahoo email. And I always lecture, back up your data, back up your data, back up your data. Back up your Yahoo email messages first, just in case. Adios.